Heyo, I hope your holidays have been treating you well. A couple months ago I turned this material into a fan skirt for a Wild West LARP set in 1869. I had an idea for a costume modelled off the dress in the title sequence of Godless, and after scouring all the op shops I kind of figured out that there was nothing there that really fit my idea for the concept, so I decided why not make my own? I did a bit of searching around for patterns, and while I wouldn't have really minded spending a bit of money to get the right pattern, I didn't want to spend anything on something that didn't really fit my concept idea. I eventually stumbled across a blog post which not only confirmed that what I was trying to make was called a fan skirt, but gave a fairly comprehensive set of ideas of how to make it. It didn't have a pattern specifically, but there were enough photos and enough kind of ideas in there that I understood how to make it. I'll pop a link to that in the description so you can see what I'm talking about. I started out by cutting a massive half circle for the back of the skirt, which was essentially the length I wanted the skirt in diameter, plus a little bit for the hem and waistband seams, plus a smaller circle cut out of the middle for the waist. I did the front of the skirt in a similar way, except the cut was more in the shape of the letter A than a half circle. I decided that one layer of my material wasn't enough, so I did the same again and doubled it up and sewed the semicircle and A shape together along the side seams. Then I got to the hard bit. I needed to make a waistband. I prepared the skirt by adding 2 pleats at the front and 1 pleat on either side, as I wanted those pleats in before I put the waistband in. I also needed to figure out what the difference was going to be between the existing waistband and the new waistband, because I needed to make the part that it buttons up such that I could fit out of the dress when it was unbuttoned, and I could run around in the dress without it falling down while it was buttoned up. One of the reasons why the waistband was so tricky was because it was made up of so many parts. Many waistbands these days are either made up of one continuous tube or have a split at the side for a button. Because the skirt had 2 buttons at the back, I needed to split the waistband into 2 separate pieces. If that sounds confusing, it's because it is. It should start to make sense as I go. Most of the time that I sunk into making the skirt either went into the massive hem or measuring where to put all the pins, but a fair amount was spent working around Zorro or trying to encourage him to move. I ended up resorting to bribery to get him to shift off me without him feeling too violent. Which drew Athena from the other room, of course, because as soon as she smells one little sniff of food, she's right there. It ended up kind of turning into a cat photo shoot at this point, although I kind of get the feeling that Zorro wasn't hugely impressed. The next stage was sewing on the buttons. The small piece of fabric is for the buttons to be sewn onto and will go at the very back of the skirt. Sewing the buttonholes into the larger part of the waistband wasn't hard, it just took time. But once I'd finished them, the smaller parts of the skirt were all out of the way. Sewing the hem seemed to take forever. Once that was done, all I had to do was sew in some loose threads and the dress was done. I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. I hope that you liked the video, and I look forward to showing you more stuff that I made for this particular costume, because of course this is without any of the accessories. Hope you had a happy new year. I'll see you next time. Bye.